But he's a very good rapper. He just, at the end of the day, in my opinion, he mimics great MCs.
Jump in, Lone. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I was doing something else. No, I'd agree. That's my one thing about Logic, and I've been saying this for years.
You have
very consistent on this point.
I think he's extremely talented, but at the same time, like he always sounds like somebody else. And to my point to what you were saying is like I don't think that if his complexion was changed, it would matter for the simple fact that it would completely change his subject matter on a lot of what his music was.
Okay.
But at the same time, maybe his subject matter would change based upon that.
It
so
might.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it might.
But he actually probably has more fans now because he looks like he can be white.
Exactly. I think that as well too. I mean, he is mixed, but he is extremely light.
He's very light. Yeah, I agree.
So,
I agree.
Well, because I saw in the reaction, because he has this whole thing about how he wants to stop having to clear samples and replaying everything.
We'll get there.
And here's the quote, Jay Moore, and I'm coming right back to you. But he said, "I'm tired of replaying shit." This is what he said. He said,
I still wanted to talk about Logic, but that's okay.
This is still about Logic. Still about Logic.
No, I wanted to stay on the other one, but it's all right.
We can go back,
he said, "Fuck the money."
Sorry,
this is why we did mixtapes. This is why mixtapes were so good. All right.
Well, no.
Do what you want, Lone.
No. The thing I want to say, because you said if you in the pre-production we were talking about how if he looked like Boosie, I said if he looked like Boosie, that he would just be another rapidy rapper, and people wouldn't pay as much attention to him.
Oh, no,
even if he had the same skill level of rap, and it's like, oh, another black kid who knows how to rap, But he has this whole tragic mulatto story that he likes to rap about. I'm not. That's not. Maybe that. Okay.
That's funny.
I'm just saying. And
kind of more
there are a lot of people who can. That's probably incorrect. I should check myself.
You caught that though. I see.
Okay.
I see you in the corner. I see.
I read a lot of old books. I see these terms kind of floated around.
He said, "I read a lot of old."
It's all good.
At least I didn't say, in him being an octoroon and a quadroon. Yeah. I could have
now,
really
if he read new books, that'd be different.
Yeah,
but the old books, we excuse him for.
No. And so I
shout out to old books.
Yeah, watch out for the old books and the terminology to get you in a little bit of trouble. No, I mean so with his skill level. And if he was, a little bit darker skinned, maybe both his parents were black, it wouldn't. He wouldn't have the attention that he has now. Like there are a lot of people who didn't find out he was black until he rapped about it, and even then they're like, "What's he really talking about?"
I was one of those people.
It's like people who I saw. They did a wax figure of The Rock, and they made him white, and everybody's like, neither of his parents are white, but like somehow he's reached a level of acceptance in the culture that they've just kind of made him white.
Because J. Cole is in the exact same boat as a Logic.
So is Drake.
Yeah, definitely. But when you look at a J. Cole, it doesn't look the same as looking at a Logic.
It doesn't. 100%. I agree.
It's because he's banking off of it almost.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like he articulates it.
Right.
But it might also be because he looks more white.
Mm-hmm.
He does.
Potentially. So maybe he feels like he has to say it more often.
It feels weird when he says nigga when you look at Logic.
Yeah, that's how.
And he made it a point to say it on this one.
Yeah.
Which
and it almost didn't even fit when he said it. It's almost
felt
like,
wrong. Actually,
I'm just gonna say it just because I can say it.
Yeah, you pointed that out. That's
I'm pretty
that's
sure
a good
I
observation.
Yeah.
Lone laughed hysterically, but Jay Diff, you're right. That's a good observation.
The song isn't bad though. I don't hate it. My only thing with Logic is what Terry said.
Yeah,
it's just he seems like I don't know what Logic sounds like.
Yeah.
Because he sounds like everybody else.
There was even a rapper, I think that's from here, that said he kind of ran with his style that somehow got close with Logic.
Oh,
I can't remember his name. Yeah.
Okay. I'm asleep on that. Okay.
Yeah.
So we doing so the sample clearance thing.
Yes, he talked about sample clearances and how he's tired of. I'm paraphrasing here, but paying for the replays, people to come in, instrumentation,
pay the money and shut the fuck up.
We know about that, but he's like, that's why mixtapes are so good. Long. So from a producer standpoint, how do you feel about that? Because to me, I think it's dope to have the budget to be able to do the interpolations to replay because that'll get you some bread
for sure.
But he's like, I'm tired of that.
I think it's just a lazy stance.
Okay.
Because what he's really advocating is copyright infringement, and I mean, I understand the frustration of, because if you're around during the mixtape era, it was a cool era.
Yeah.
You know, like you didn't feel like you had all these stipulations. You could do something, put it out. You could just do stuff. But from an artist standpoint, I actually had this argument, or I talked about this last week with somebody in one of the classes I talked when they asked about copyright. And I said, to me, I understand the frustrations with it, but you are taking somebody else's material.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking somebody else's beat
Mm-hmm.
or song or sample, and you're using that to do what you do, and you should be responsible for that. That's the way I feel. And I'm a producer that has sampled more than 1,000 times.
100%.
So it's just part of it. Just pay the money or make something original.
It's just weird. It's just weird for me from a production standpoint to hear someone that has the budget to be able to go play the session players to do that.
Yeah, there's
complain about, you know what I mean?
You have the money to do it.
Yeah, like I could see if it was someone that couldn't afford to get samples replayed, and then they are.
But it doesn't really cost a lot to get samples replayed. If
I don't
know people.
If you know people, that's one thing. I'll give you that. But there are instances where musicians that are professional musicians may charge a fee to come in and play. You know what I'm saying, a replay or do a session or something like that. So,
but it's not going to be like thousands.
It's not going to be
dollars,
crazy. I would think not. I agree.
And it should be given that you being a musician,
right,
want to put money back into another musician's pocket.
That's the hypocrisy of it.
You know what I'm saying? So, and someone being built on hip hop, knows that certain elements of hip hop, the structure is from sampling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Mount Rushmore of hip hop has sampling on it.
100%.
So why would you be upset about that?
Well, he's more. I think his argument, though. I mean, for his
he doesn't
defense,
want to pay for it.
He doesn't want to pay for it. I think when he talks about the mixtape era, I mean, think back to when Mac Miller got sued. That was really the first time somebody got sued off of a mixtape, right?
Mm-hmm.
He took Lord Finesse's beat and made a song.
Yep.
Thought that he could get away with it because he didn't
He didn't get paid for it.
He didn't get paid for it.
They came after him.
But they came after him because that's one of the songs that Mac Miller got big for. Yeah. That was a cool era because you could just take beats and do stuff over it. So
but if you make it in that era, then you got to pay your fines. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, I understand where he's coming from, but I feel like it's a weird argument from him.
Coming from him in terms of speaking about a hassle to do that, that's where someone like Lone or myself would find it weird. Like, I don't understand why that's so weird. Yeah. Especially when you're dealing in a situation where I know you got the budget to pay for it.
First of all, you're on Def Jam. Okay, I really don't want to hear about how this is such a struggle for you. You're still in the major label system.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, you make it seem like your struggle is something so unique and so new. This is something people have been going through for the past 35 years.
100%.
Since they pulled Biz Marquis's album, because he didn't want to pay, Gilbert and O'Sullivan. So, like, I don't want to hear about how... Or or when the Turtles came after De La Soul for the one sample they forgot to clear off of 3 Foot High and Rising.
Wasn't even the main sample of the song.
Exactly, and so. But we
really
talk about his light skin privilege. Yeah, like when you see people who are making like remarks and be like, "Oh, this is the privilege of having." I was like, okay, do you still not, even though he raps about being light skinned and being black but looking sort of white and having this mixed heritage, you're still talking about his privilege.
Facts.
I guess because his privilege of looking sort of white, where he can say these things, but he's still. When it all comes down to it, he's still a black man in America. So, like, if you're going to make the argument, make it about the fact that he's whining over something that's not a new problem. So that's my issue.
I think that's a good place to end it.
First world shit.
100%.